Hello everyone, my name is Eniola. If you're new here, this is Eni Rants. Welcome. So today's video is gonna be like a 2025 recap. I'm gonna be talking about what plans I had coming into 2025, how the year turned out for me, and where I'm at now. And then I'm also gonna be talking about what my plans are for 2026. If you see me looking off the camera, it's because I'm looking at a script. I don't want to go off track, just to guide me. Okay, let's get into it then. I started 2025 very optimistic. I was like, oh yeah, this is my year. I was like, this is my year. Yada. It's gonna be a really good year. I've set out goals, simple goals. It's gonna everything's just gonna click, right? So I had said I was going to start like a master's module um, for work anyway, but I said I was going to start a master's module and I was going to do some traveling. The traveling bit was very tentative. I wasn't sure how much traveling I was going to be doing, so that was still like maybe, but I would like to, right? And then I also said that I was going to take my spiritual life very seriously. If you don't know, I'm Christian. um I I said I was gonna go to church more, I was gonna read my Bible more, I was going to pray more, develop that personal relationship with God again. So simple goals, right? What could go wrong? So how did the year turn out? I was working towards these goals. I'm not gonna lie, I was trying my best. With the master's module, I was chasing my managers and my superiors at work concerning this. I was also trying to skill up with the resources available to me. I also tried to put myself out there for like extra roles and extra responsibilities at work, so that was good. Um, but yeah, I did my best. I tried to put myself out there as much as I could, because I mean, where I work, it's quite competitive getting on these models because everybody wants to do them. So it was, yeah, I knew that it was gonna be a struggle, but we like a challenge. Yeah, so I did try my best. And then looking at holidays, I didn't travel much this year. I only went to America in September, but that was also good because like I was able to spend time with my family, and that was a much needed break. I think that was the that was the break I took from work that just helped me reset. And regarding my spiritual life, I think um, going to church more, reading my Bible more, and pray more would have been, that was what I wanted to do. I was gonna just do everything better and do more this year. Um, I think I did pray more. I read my Bible more than I normally would, more than I did last year. And I did go to church more compared to last year. I went to church more this year, even though it wasn't a lot. But initially, I was trying to see if I could eat my cake and have it. So I didn't want to cut down on my unsociable hours because that's why I get my extra enhancements. Uh, but so it was a matter of, well, when I have time, I'll go. And if I don't have time, if I'm working those shifts, I'm not going to cancel those shifts to go to church. I'm just going to work my shifts and get my money. Um, so that's what it was initially. But later on in the year, I had to revise my work pattern, and that doing that just gave me more time to go to church. So I'm glad I did that eventually. But yeah, before I got to this point, I mean, 2025 hit me with, with a reverse card. Like, it was crazy. Um, I was quite ill come spring. I was very, very ill. I was always sick. I was just very flat. Um, and this, I noticed I was like, putting off going to the doctors for the longest time. And then I eventually did go to the doctors because I was like, it's starting to affect my work, it's affecting me, like my day to day activities, is starting to affect my relationship with my friends and everything. Because I was like, I need to get this checked. So after going back and forth with my doctor, I eventually got an appointment for further investigation, and this was in the summer. So this was in the summer. Mind you, I saw all of this in the spring. Um, so I went for this appointment, did my scan and everything, and then the doctor called me the next day and just gave me like the news, and I was like, oh no, like when something's going on and you have an idea, you feel like this is what's happening, but you're like, you don't want to believe it. You don't want to think that that's what's going on. That was basically what I was doing. I was basically living in denial, really. Um, it's funny now. It wasn't funny then. It wasn't funny at all. I was quite sad. I was always crying. I was always so upset. And I think on top of that, it also felt as though like nothing was working out. It felt like I was working and working and trying and trying and trying, and nothing was sticking for me. Um, so yeah, it was quite a not so good time for me. I'm already very small and very slim, and I lost a ton of weight. Guys, I'm laughing about it now. It was not funny then. So and then I went home in I think July or August, and I was saying to my folks, I was like, you guys, I think I may be depressed. I was like flat out. Um, but I mean, for people that know me, you know that like, regardless of what I'm going through, I'm still gonna try to like, do what I need to do. Get like if something needs to be done, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna say, oh, because something's going on, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna get it over and done with, and so I know that it's done, right? So I carried on like that. But it was a lot for me. And I think for as long as I can remember, I've only felt like I did. I've only felt that way 4 times. I think the first time was when I lost my dad. I was still in secondary school then. So I lost my dad. I was just like, and then after uni, um, in 2018, this was when I did my first degree in Nigeria. So I had like something like that, I experienced something like this then. And then my second year in uni here and this year. Most of the time when I experience this or when this happens is because I'm maybe going through something, I'm struggling with something, I'm trying to power through that thing by myself, and I'm trying to like deal with the whole thing myself. Um, that's when I tend to feel this way. I don't know if it's like first daughter syndrome, but I do not like it. I do not like the idea of like um going through a hard time and having to deal with it yourself. It's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. Um, Especially like when there are people around you that could either be of support, and then you're purposely like trying to carry the weight yourself. I don't like it. And I'm quite glad that is one thing that I have been able to change about myself this year. I'm so grateful to God, because like that is the one thing that's always been like, when I went into something, I just try to shoulder it myself. And it tends to get very overwhelming for me sometimes. But this year I was able to, let that part of me go, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, what did I do? I went to therapy. Well, it's not therapy. I went into counseling. I self-referred myself. I was at work one day and I was like, I don't feel good, and this is getting, I'm starting to feel this way for too long, because this was going more than a month now. So I self-prepared myself for counseling. And if you know the NHS, you know that things tend to take a while. So I was very aware of this. I was like, well, I've done this now. It may take months before I'm able to see someone. So what can I do in the meantime to, to try to recalibrate my mind, really? Because that's what I was trying to do. I was just like, let's tune this a bit back. Mind you, I have tried counseling before. I tried counseling when I was in secondary school. When my dad died, I tried counseling. I don't think I lasted 15 minutes in the room with the counselor. I stormed out because I was like, this isn't working for me. Looking back, I don't think going through counseling at that time would have been really useful to me, because I wasn't in the frame of mind to accept, I wasn't in the frame of mind to talk about what I was going through and have someone, try to work out what's going on in my mind. I don't even think I even wanted that at all. So no, I did 15 minutes of saying, I'm just sad, I'm just sad, I'm just sad, I'm just unhappy, I'm just sad, I'm just upset. And I walked out of the room, and I avoided the counselor for the rest of the school year. I was like, yeah, because she would see me and then like I would feel very awkward. So I tried to avoid her. But I think this year I was like, I think I need to now work out what's going on in my mind and how my mind works and how what's going on in my head, So while I was while I was waiting for someone to pick up my case with counseling, I decided to think about things I could do for myself that would, try to recalibrate my mind, or like try to get me to reset. So what did I do? I stopped worrying about things I couldn't control, because that's just gonna get me overwhelmed, because I'm gonna carry on thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I'm just gonna be trying things and nothing's gonna work. So if I can't control it, I don't think about it. For example, like with what my conversation with the doctor, I can't control it. I can only do what I can, and then wait for like treatments and things like that. But there's only so much I can do till then. So I don't really think about it. If I think about it, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be bothered. So yeah, out the window. And then I also took a really long break from work. I took a 2 week break from work. I That was when I went to America in September, and that was nice. It was good to just not think about work, not think about what I'm trying to achieve, and all of that. And um, I was just around my family. And when I came back to the country, I still had like a week extra, or like another extra couple of days. So I was with my friends. I was just, having a good time, really. And I tell you, it was the best decision I made because I felt lighter. I felt very free. I just felt unbothered about everything that was going on. I was also very intentional about what I was listening to and the sort of things I was letting into my own personal space. So I was in that zone of like, if you don't have anything good to say, then you don't really need to be here. Just go outside. Like, if you don't have anything constructive to say or supportive or positive to say, then don't talk to me. I really don't want to hear what you have to say. Um, so that was basically what I did. I Yeah, so I was quite intentional about what I was doing. When I came back in October, so it's the end of October, I got an appointment to see a counselor. It was so funny when I went into counseling because I was like, I'm doing a lot better now. So they do this assessment, just so they're able to, like, you know, gauge where your mind is now, what you're thinking, or how bad this or how dire the situation is, at the start, and then they do another one at the end. So the one I did at the start was myself and my counselor. We sat down and we actually laughed about it because I was doing so much better. I um I was like in the greens. I was like in the positive side. I wasn't like triggering or flagging off anything. And I remember, like, I kept on saying when he would ask me questions, I was like, well, if you had asked me this question 2 months ago, this wasn't the case. I was in such a bad place. I was thinking negative thoughts. I was having really, really bad thoughts. I was like considering like terrible things I wouldn't normally think about when I am in like a good place, or when I'm like, sane and doing okay. So it was more, so counseling for me was turned out to be like self-reflecting. So I was going into that room like on my appointment days for my sessions, and I was doing self-reflection. um but that was also very refreshing for me because it also helped me to see how far I've come this year, come from like, wanting to do certain things and looking at what I actually did achieve this year as opposed to focusing on what I did not achieve. So where am I at now? At the moment, I think I'm in a much better space. Not even I think, I am in a much better space. I feel like now more than ever, I understand myself, I understand my triggers, and I know that I've got the tools I need if I do ever fall into like, this sort of space again, or this go into this kind of episode again. I know that I've got the tools I need to bring myself out of it. And I do understand that, like, I do not need to handle things myself. Um, as human beings, we thrive in community, and I have a really solid community. Like, I think my family, my friends, they were all there for me. Like, shout out to everyone. They were all there for me when I was going through this, because yeah, it was tough. And I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful to God that, you know, I've got such amazing people around me. So what did I achieve this year? Well, for starters, I'm into counseling. So my triggers, I have my tools. I know what to do if I, you know, ever fall into this space again. And also, while I didn't do a lot of traveling, when I did, it was at the right time, and I was around the right people when I did travel, if you get what I mean. And then I didn't do the master's module. I didn't do the master's module, but what I did was I did a different course, and that's the supporting students in practice. Turns out I actually like teaching. I didn't know that. But I had a student late last year, or was it early this year? I don't remember clearly now, but I had a student, and I was like, I actually like this, you know, and so I went for that course instead of, like, you know, pushing for that master's module. And yeah, I'm thriving at work. I'm doing very well personally. I am, you know, my relationship with my friends and my family is a lot stronger now than earlier on in the year. So it's been a relatively good year for me still. I mean, regardless of everything that's happened, it's still been a really good year. And I'm glad. I'm glad. What am I looking forward to in 2026? Well, I'm probably gonna do something else again at work. Even if it's most likely going to be the masters, I think I'm quite certain I'm going to get it this time. But if not, I'm going to take up a different course again, because I believe no knowledge is lost. And in my career, like in this job I've taken, everything is useful, because you really don't know where you find yourself, like, in the future. So I'm really, like, going to be taking on as many opportunities as I'm presented. Also, I'm also gonna, like, engage in my church community. I've been putting that off. You know, since I've been going to church, I've been trying to put that off. I think it's time for me to really get integrated with my church community. They know me, they see me, I see them, but I don't have, like, a solid, like, you know, relationship with them. So I'm gonna work on that come 2026. And I'm gonna be traveling. And this is not a tentative thing. I have made, like, very solid plans. This time I've made very solid plans. I'm gonna be traveling, like, doing a lot more traveling this year. Maybe not a lot, but yeah, I'm gonna be traveling more this year. I've also got a few events here and there that I'm gonna be attending, so it's gonna be a jolly year. I am looking forward to 2026, and I'm very, very excited. So yeah, come 2026, we outside. And yeah, I do think that, like, to anyone that's listening to me, if you're like me, and you've got that first daughter syndrome, please, I just need you to understand that, like, you don't have to do it alone. You need to be able to say no, you can't do it. You need to understand that you don't have to do anything alone. There is you know, a lot of support out there for you. Be it your friends, be it your immediate family, or you can just be like me and go into counseling. Yeah, you can do that. Um, so yeah, and always like look out for yourself. Um, and you know, just do what makes you happy. Really, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe. I will be uploading more content come 2026. And if you're watching this video in 2026, Happy New Year! Yeah. Uh, see you in the next one. Bye.